Family, we back, we back, we back. Now, for those that may not remember from part one, let me talk about the Moynihan report. The reason we are here is because I was on This Might Be Risky's channel. Shout out to DJ Hemp and his amazing channel. If you have not, go tell a friend and tell a friend. This Might Be Risky is one of the dopest channels on the interwebs. That brother really be doing it. He brings a ton of excellent guests. But anyway, no, the Moynihan report said overall black men were hostile to their workplace and families. It didn't say anything like that towards women. Read it again. So we're reading it again. We're reading it again because the dating pool roast reactions paid $20. No, the Moynihan report said overall black men were hostile to their workplace and families. It didn't say anything like that towards women. Read it again. Well, if you act so nicely and you pay $20, we go read it again. We in chapter 2 of the Moynihan report, the Negro American family. Are you not entertained? At the heart of the deterioration of the fabric of Negro society is the deterioration of the Negro family. It is the fundamental source of the weakness of the Negro community at the present time. There is probably no single fact of Negro American life so little understood by whites. The Negro situation is commonly perceived by whites in terms of visible manifestations of discrimination and poverty, in part because Negro protest is directed against such obstacles, and in part, no doubt, because these are facts which involve the actions and attitudes of the white community as well. It is more difficult, however, for whites to perceive the effect that 3 centuries of exploitation have had on the fabric of Negro society itself. Here, the consequences of the historic injustices done to Negro Americans are silent and hidden from view. But here is where the true injury has occurred. Unless this damage is repaired, all the effort to end discrimination and poverty and injustice will come to little. But here is where the true injury has occurred. Unless this damage is repaired, all the effort to end discrimination and poverty and injustice will come to little. The role of the family in shaping character and ability is so pervasive to be easily overlooked. It is so important. It is so important. The role of family in the shaping character and ability is so pervasive. The family is the basic social unit of American life. It is the basic socializing unit. By and large, adult conduct in society is learned as a child. A fundamental insight of psychoanalytic theory, for example, is that the child learns a way of looking at life in his early years through which all later experiences is viewed and which profoundly shapes his adult conduct. That is 100% accurate. And it takes a very long time to retrain or reframe or reshape that thinking if you ever do at all. It may be hazarded that for the reason family structure does not loom larger in public discussion, it may be hazarded that the reason family structure does not loom larger in public discussion of social issues is that people tend to assume that the nature of family life is about the same throughout American society. The mass media and the development of suburbia have created an image of American family as highly standardized phenomenon, meaning everybody family good. Everybody got a nuclear family, mom, dad, extended family that come help out and support grandma and grandpa from both sides. You know what I mean? You got your siblings, they're cool and they're a little quirky and silly, but you guys all work together. The Brady Bunch, Cosby Show, Seventh Heaven. This is the Leave It to Beaver. This is the Webster. This is the Out Elf. This is the mindset. This is the notion that people have about families here. Bewitched. I Love Lucy. It is therefore easy to assume that whatever it is that makes differences among the individuals or groups of families, it is not a different family structure. because everybody thinks everybody got good family going on. And it's because of the media's projecting that. There is much truth to this. As with any other nation, Americans are producing a recognizable family system, but that process is not completed by any means. There are still, for example, important differences in family patterns surviving from the age of the great European migration to the United States. And these variations account for notable differences in the progress and assimilation of various ethnic and religious groups. A number of immigrant groups were characterized by unusually strong family bonds. These groups have characteristically progressed more rapidly than others, but there is one truly great discontinuity in family structure in the United States at the present time, that between the white world in general and that of the Negro American. The white family has achieved a high degree of stability and is maintaining that stability. By contrast, the family structure of lower class Negroes is highly unstable and in many urban centers is approaching complete breakdown. And this was in 1965. The family structure of lower class Negroes is highly unstable and in many urban centers is approaching complete breakdown, meaning there's no families in these entire low income communities, man. No two-parent households. This was in 65. There is considerable evidence that the Negro community is in fact dividing between a stable middle class group. We talk about this all the time now. That is steadily growing stronger and more successful, and an increasingly disorganized and disadvantaged lower class. There are indications, for example, that the middle class Negro family puts a higher premium on family stability and the conserving of family resources than does the white middle class family. So conservative Negro families do better with resources and stuff than white middle class families. Middle class Negro families put a higher premium on stability and the conserving of family resources, so they saving more. They trying to have more in the bank. They being more thrifty. The discussion of this paper is not obviously directed to the first group, accepting as it is affected by the experience of the second, an important exception. There are 2 points to be noted in this context. First, the emergence and increasing visibility of a Negro middle class may beguile the nation into supposing that the circumstances of the remainder of the Negro community are equally prosperous. Meaning, so you see this middle class, you see some Negroes doing well, so you're going to think all of them doing well. Whereas just the opposite is true at present and is likely to continue to do so. Meaning, if you see some of them doing bad, you're going to think all of them doing bad. Second, the lumping of all Negroes together in one statistical measurement very probably conceals the extent of the disorganization among the lower class group. If conditions are improving for one and deteriorating for the other, the resultant statistical averages might show no change. Further, the statistics on the Negro family and most other subjects treated in this paper refer only to a specific point in time. They are a vertical measure of the situation at any given moment. They do not measure the experience of individuals over time. Thus, the average monthly unemployment rate for Negro males for 1964 is recorded at 9%. But during 1964, some 29% of Negro males were unemployed at one time or another. Sheesh. So while it's saying the overall rate for the 1964 might have been just 9 or 10% of Negro males were out of work, but there were months that they could track because they are the labor board that 30%, if not more, of Negro males were unemployed. Similarly, for example, if 36% of the Negro children are living in broken homes at any specific moment, it is likely that a far higher proportion of Negro children find themselves in that situation at one time or another in their lives. Sheesh. This is a lot, meaning that if they saying on average 36% living in broken homes, that means at one time or another it was 50%, 70%. Jeez. Nearly a quarter of of urban Negro marriages are dissolved, meaning ending in divorce. Nearly a quarter of Negro women living in cities who ever married are divorced, separated, or are living apart from their husbands. So the least to be married, and with a 25% divorce rate back then. And they say 7 out of 10 married divorce filings are by women. This is crazy. What is the percentage today? According to Forbes.com, uh-oh. Let's see. 40% of new marriages include a partner who is remarrying. Third marriages have the highest divorce rate of 73%. Only 6% of divorced couples remarry each other. Wow, I didn't know that. Divorcees are more likely to die earlier than married people. Damn. Well, I mean, that makes sense, man. Divorce takes so much out of you. It takes such a toll on your life. Gray divorce, which is a divorce at 50 and older, takes a heavier toll on women's standard of living. Women experience 45% decline in their standard of living after a gray divorce. Sheesh. While men only a 21% decline. The majority of divorcees own their homes. 60% of divorced couples cited infidelity. Domestic abuse prompts a divorce in 24% of cases. Man. 66% of men and 74% of women think that their partner should have worked harder to save the marriage. 70% of couples report not understanding the realities or stages of marriage. Wow. A lack of knowledge about what marriage entails is one of the leading contributing factors to divorce. 72% of couples reported that they didn't fully understand the commitment involved in marriage before they tied the knot. This is a Forbes article from a couple days ago, family. Many divorced people say they were surprised their partner changed over their marriage and were unable to cope with new problems that arose over time personally. Man, that's crazy. So the states with the lowest divorce rates: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, DC, and Florida. Occupations with the highest divorce rate: gaming manager, bartender, flight attendant, gaming service workers, rolling machine setters, switchboard operators, extruding and drawing machine setters. Wow. Telemarketers, textile machine operators, machine setters, operators, and tenders. Guys, do not get in the machine setting business if you plan on getting married. Actuaries have the lowest divorce rate. What is an actuary? Maybe more of us need to go do that. Physical scientists, medical scientists, yeah, because these people make more money, and the higher your amount of money you make, the lower. People don't want to hear that though. Architecture and engineering have the lowest industries with the lowest divorces. Computers and mathematics, military. This is definitely good to know. The more money people make, the less they get divorced. Divorces by race. Here we go. The divorce rates also vary by race. Many factors could explain these discrepancies, including differing cultural norms. Here's what the data shows. The divorce rate with white couples is 15.1%. The marriage rate among these couples is 32%. So 1 out of every 3 uh, white person will be married, and only 15% of them will ever get divorced. The divorce rate for black couples is 30%. The marriage rate 17%. The divorce rate, Jesus. Divorce rate for black couples 30%. The marriage rate is just 17%. Family. Divorce rate for Latino couples 18%. Marriage rate 33%. Asian Americans have the highest marriage rate, 65% marriage, 4% divorce rate. Come on, man. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Forbes article from a few. I'm gonna link the article to my conversation. Forbes Advisor, May 30th, 2024, 5:33 a.m. article, man. I'll link the article for you people who need to see this. Rates by, and they really broke this down by race, income, jobs, professions, divorce by race. Whites 15%, marriages 32%, 1 in 3. The divorce rate for black couples is 30%, meaning 1 in 3 of us is getting divorced. Stupido. And the marriage rate is 17%, meaning only out of 10 of us, only 2 of us might be married, man. 10, you put 10 black people in the room, only 2 of them gonna be married. You put 100 black people in the room, about 17 of them will be married. 18. The divorce rate for Latino couples is 18.5%, almost 19%. Marriage rate is 33.2, even higher than white people's. Asian people 65%. So Asian people not only make the most money in this country, $1.32 versus $1 for every dollar white people make, but they have a 65% marriage rate and a divorce rate of 4%. And it got sources, in case you Negroes don't believe. Nearly 39% of all American Indian and Alaskan population is currently married, excluding couples who are separated. So this doesn't even include separated couples who still might be legally married. The same percentage has never married. This is crazy, guys. The same percentage has never been married, and approximately 13% of divorced of Native American, Alaskan, Indian natives, guys. 40%. So if you put 100 of them in a room, about 40 of them are married, guys. And that don't include the ones who are married and just living separately. So it could be 50%. It could be 60%. Guys, this is crazy. This is really crazy. Divorce rates by education level, because another argument is made that the more education our sisters get, the more likely they are to pull the trigger on these divorces. Divorce rate for people with an education of high school is less than 39% for men and 37% for women. High school diploma, so less than high school is about 40%. High school diploma is about 40% still, while the divorce rate for those with less than a high school diploma was 45.3%. Hold up, what? Oh, because this might have been a combined percentage? I don't understand that. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that. The divorce rate for people. Well, let's see where it was getting this stat from. Okay, here's a quick link to the sources. All right, cool. Divorce rate by education level. Divorce rate for people with advanced. More bachelors, 26% for men, 30% for women, 29% of men and 32% of women with a bachelor's or higher divorced in 2022. 32% of women with a bachelor's degree were divorced in 2022. Man. 78% of women with a bachelor's degree have a marriage that lasts at least 20 years. Well, I'd like to see that broken down by race because the argument in our community is that a lot of women with their degrees are actually breaking their homes up because they feel that they are too smart and too educated and the man can't teach them nothing. If we go by religion, 60% of the Hindus are married, but just 5% divorce. Protestants have the most divorce. Of course, 55% is 40% are divorce. Dang. In 2023, about 5.8% of children with only their lived with only their mother after divorce. Sheesh. Only 1% of children, 1.6% of children only live with their father after divorce. Among one parent family groups, 41% of single fathers never married, and 38% were divorced. Having more children doesn't increase the risk. So, guys, I mean, we see what the numbers say, man. Divorce rate for black couples is 30.8%, marriage rate 17.3%. So let's continue on with the Moynihan report. Nearly a quarter of Negro women living in cities who were ever married are divorced, separated, and are living apart from their husbands. Let's look up this. Hmm. Boop. Boo boo doo boo doo boo 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 boom boom. Yeah, man. I mean, it looks like for the most part, the more education you have, ideally, the more money you be making, the less divorces were happening overall. But I really would like to see some numbers for the black community, and again, we all know what I mean by when I say this, so don't beat me up. The black community, specifically. So total husbands absence or divorce: non-white 22.9%, white 7.9%. So, and again, the non-white number represents essentially black. Because at the time they did these reports, about 92% of the non-white people in the country were black people. So, total husbands absent: 17% for non-whites, 3.9%. Separated husband absent for other reasons. Jesus, come on, man. Come on, guys. Urban. We'll stick with that urban. Husbands absent for other reasons. Jeez. Total divorced. U.S. Census population in 1960. The rates are the highest in urban Northeast, where 26% of Negro women ever married are either separated, divorced, or have their husbands absent. On the urban frontier, the proportion of husbands absent is even higher. In New York City in 1960, it was 30.2%, not including divorces. Among ever married non white women in the nation, the proportion with husbands present declined in every age group over the decade, 1950 to 1960, as follows. Gosh, this is staggering. This is really staggering. This is insanely staggering. Although similar declines occurred among white females, the proportion of white husbands present never dropped below 90%, except for the first and last age group. So the very young people, and you could argue people going through some type of midlife crisis. It's crazy. Nearly one quarter of Negro births are now illegitimate. Both white and Negro illegitimacy rates have been increasing, although from dramatically different bases. The white was 2% in 1940. It was 3% in 1963. In that period, the Negro went from 16.8% to 23.6%. Oh my God. The number of illegitimate children per 1,000 live births increased by 11 among whites in the period of 1940 to 63, but by 68 among non-whites. 68 per thousand people. That's a pretty staggering number, guys. There are, of course, limits to the dependability of these statistics. There are almost certainly a considerable number of Negro children who, although technically illegitimate, are in fact offspring of stable unions, meaning the parents aren't married, but they do live together and take care of the house. On the other hand, it may be assumed that many births are in fact illegitimate and recorded otherwise. Recorded as legitimate, but really illegitimate. There's definitely women who sit there and act like, oh yeah, we together, and put that person's name on the birth certificate, knowing they not. Probably the two opposite effects cancel each other out. You would hope. Percentage distribution of ever married Negro females with husbands absent or divorced in urban areas by region. Hey, excuse me once again. Total husbands absent or divorced, 25% in the Northeast, at least 20% across the board. And this is in 1960. This is ridiculous, man. And I get it saying, oh, well, look, it's saying the husbands is absent, the husbands is absent, the husbands is absent. What are we defining as husbands here? Are we saying that these women were all married to these men and these men just got up and walked away? Are we saying many of these women in the 1960s were having children with men that they weren't married to? This is the 60s. This is around the time of free love. This is around the time of free love, Woodstock. Feminism is on the rise. Self-expression, freedom to do what you want with your body. This is crazy, man. Have those things helped us? Have those things helped us? Non-white illegitimacy ratio is 8 times higher than whites. And this was in the 60s, family. Mother flipping 60s. On the urban frontier, the non-white illegitimacy rates are higher than the national average. And the increase of late has been drastic. In the District of Columbia, well, yeah, in more impoverished, ghetto or urbanized areas, unfortunately, you get a lot of these more low moral behaviors going on with all people. In the District of Columbia, the illegitimacy rate for non-whites grew from 21.8% to 29.5%. So essentially, we talk about 30% of the kids having coming from an illegitimate home, being bastard children. Similar picture of disintegrating Negro marriages emerges from the divorce statistics. Divorces have increased of late for both whites and non-whites, but at a much greater rate for the latter. a much greater rate for the non-whites. The latter means the second one listed for whites and non-whites. So the latter would be the non-whites. So us having a much greater increase of divorces. In 1940, both groups had divorce rate of 2.2%. This is well after slavery, 2.2%. So all that, oh, they divided us in slavery, it's bullshit. It's bullcrap. It's nonsense. It's not true. In 1940s, both had a divorce rate of 2%. By 1964, the the white rate had risen to 3.6%, but the non-white rate had risen to 5%, 40% greater than the formerly equal white rate. So in the 40s, both groups had a 2% essentially divorce rate. By the 60s, by the free love, the all this feminism, white power, it was 40% greater in the community that has less of a population. No one, and then you got to think about this. The Caucasian population is the larger population in the country. So them having a 2% divorce rate is negligible. They're not going to feel it in their communities. It's sad. You don't want to see it happen, but it's negligible, and the entire community as a whole will still be powerful and move as a united construct forward. When you have a smaller amount of people having a much higher amount of divorces, you're going to see deterioration of communities and community like values. That's just facts. 40% more greater divorces in a population with less people. Family, do the math. Think, right? Almost 1/4 of Negro families are headed by females. This is in the 60s, nigga. This is in the fucking 60s. As a direct result of this rate of divorce, separation, and desertion, a very large percent of Negro families are headed by females. While the percentage of such families among whites has been dropping since the 40s, it has been rising among Negroes, going up. And now people are like, oh, well, this is going up among every race of people now, the deterioration of society. This is true. I would argue this is very true. Let me see. Census.gov. So we're on Finances Online. Single parent statistics in the United States. Finances Online. Over 18.5 million children in the United States live with a single mother or father. This is according to the Census Bureau 2020 statistics. Imagine 19 million people growing up with one parent in the country. God damn. Approximately 5 million children in the US age 5 and under live in a single parent household. Again, this is the Center for Translation of Neuroscience at the University of Oregon 2020 stats. Almost 1/4, 23% of children in the US under age 18 live with one parent and no other adult, which is the highest in the world. Sheesh. That's why you get so many latchkey kids. Mom's at work, dad at work, kid is just hitting the streets, boy. Half of all the children in the U.S. live with a single parent. This is the Harvard Gazette of 2020. On the other hand, 1 in 3 children spends time living with an extended relative. Bow, 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 bow. 2. Single parent statistics by gender. 19 million children, yes, with 15 million children living with two, 15 million children with two parents, 19 million living with one parent. This is the Census Bureau of 2020. 15.3 million children in the United States who live with a single mother. 15.3 million children in the United States who lived with a single mother. Financesonline.com. These are U.S. Census Bureau statistics they're using. There are 14.84 million families with a single mother in the U.S., 6.5 with a single father. Women aged 35 to 39 in the U.S. have a 9% likelihood of living as single parents. In contrast, men only have a 2% likelihood to live as single parents. During the pandemic, the share of unpartnered mothers who are working in the U.S. dropped to 67.4% compared to 76.1% before the pandemic. Unpartnered parents include those who have never been married, are not cohabitating, are not widowed or separated, or married but have an absent spouse. On the other hand, the share of unpartnered fathers who are working dropped by 86.1%. I'm going to say dropped to 86.1% because that's crazy compared to 91.1%. So more single fathers, more unpartnered fathers, fathers who have never gotten married or never widowed, never separated, not cohabitating. 91% of unpartnered fathers are working. Well, that was before the pandemic, 86% work now. It's much higher than the 67% of women who are unpartnered, not working. So literally 20% more of unpartnered fathers work than mothers. And that could be, because of the pandemic and people had to do remote learning and, mothers found it harder to get back into the job pool after that, had to do homeschooling, etc. All those things are true, but that's why we should have two parents in the house. If not more. That's a different conversation. Single parent statistics by race. This is where the juice is. When it comes to single parent statistics by race, the U.S. Census data shows that the predominant ethnicity of single parent mothers and fathers is white, non-Hispanic. This is followed by African American single mothers, then Hispanic single mothers. The ethnicity with the least number of single parents are the Asians. In terms of poverty levels of single mom households by ethnicity, white, non-Hispanic, and Asian women fare better than Native American, African American, and single Latino mothers, meaning white women and Asian women, even as single mothers, are having an economically easier time than Native, African American, whatever that means, and Latina mothers. 6.6% white, non-Hispanic families with a single mother. 2019 Statista, 4.14 million families with a single mother. 2019 Bureau. 1.5 million with a single father. African American Census Bureau. Only 375,000 Asian single fathers. Sheesh. There's less than a million Asian kids going through this. 543,000 single mother, 375,000 single father. 4 million African Americans. Aren't we only 14 million of the whole pop? This is, bro, what? This is disgusting stats, man. Challenges that single parents face. 3 in 5 poor children in the U.S. lived in families headed by unwed mothers. The National Women's Law Center, 2020. The Women's Law Center. Said 3 in 5 children in the US, 60% lived in families. 3 in 5, the majority of the poor children are coming from these homes with these unwed moms, man. If I'm more likely to be poor, I'm more likely to be commit crime. I'm more likely to go hustle and do things I need to do. I'm more likely to commit scams and do jokes and do schemes. I'm more likely to do stuff to get my paper up. Families with children headed by unwed mothers have a poverty rate of 31%, while unwed fathers only had a poverty rate of 15%. The lowest poverty rate is 5% for families headed by a married couple, meaning children will be less likely to live in poverty if the parents are married. But guess what? By proxy, you'll be less likely to live in poverty too. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. This is sick, bro. This is sick. This is crazy. This is crazy. What pros can there be? The reality is, with no one to share the effort and resources for rearing a child, being a single parent poses a child challenge to a single parent's finances and well-being. Man, this is crazy. Family, what are we talking about? Are y'all not liking this? Are y'all not entertained? Do y'all not know how to reach me? Y'all know how to reach me. Y'all know how to reach me. Y'all know how to reach me. And y'all know my IG. Y'all know my IG. Y'all know the IG. So we're gonna continue on, man. Almost 1/4 of Negro families are headed by females. The percent of non-white females headed by non-white families headed by a female, or more than double the percent of whites. Fatherless non-white families increased by a sixth between 1950 and 1960, but held constant for white families. It has been estimated that only a minority of Negro children reach the age 18 having lived all their lives with both parents. Gang, what are we doing to our children? It has been estimated that only a minority of Negro children reach the age of 8. The number is so small they didn't want to write it, so they just wrote a minority. Jesus. Illegitimacy ratios between per 1,000 non-white births by city between 1950 and 1962. So this is 300,000 almost in Chicago. Like 250,000 between 1950 and 19. This is crazy, man. I don't even. Almost 1/4 of non-white families are headed by a woman. This is just going up, 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 up. Percent distribution of white and non-white families. Children on AFDC, so that's like financial assistance from the government with absent fathers. Of course, there's way more children who are getting public substances. Come on, man. Like, once again, this measure of family disorganization is found to be diminishing among whites and increasing among Negro families. I mean, come on, they showing us all families, non-white, husband, wife. Other male head, female head, 21% female head, man. 12. Between the 50s and 60s, look how it got. Non-white was 18, then it went to 21. Come on, y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy. Once again, the breakdown of the Negro family has led to startling increase in welfare dependency. Let's cook. Let's cook. The majority of Negro children receive public assistance under the AFDC program at one point or another in their childhood. At present, 14% of Negro children are receiving AFDC assistance, as against 2% of white children. 8% of white children each receive 8% of white children receive such assistance at some time, again as against 56% of non-whites, according to an extrapolation based on Hugh data. Let it be noted that a total of 1.8 million non-white illegitimate children in the nation in 1961, 1.3 million were not receiving aid under the AFDC program, although a substantial number have or will receive aid at some point in their lives. Sheesh. Again, the situation may be said to be worsening. The AFDC program, deriving from the long-established Mother's Aid programs, was established in 1935 principally to care for widows and orphans. Although the legislation covered all children in homes deprived of parental support because one or both parents were absent or incapacitated. Some people argue they did that on purpose. In the beginning, the number of AFDC families in which the father was absent because of desertion was less than a third. And today, it's 2/3. Hugh estimates that between 2/3 and 3/4 of the 50% increase from 1948 to 55 in the number of absent fathers receiving not absent father families receiving ADC may be explained by an increase in broken homes in the population. So more families is getting public assistance and on the public dole because there's more broken families within that population. It's very non-white unemployment rate. Oh, here it goes. Here's where it get nasty. Cases under AFDC compared with unemployment rate for non-whites. Non-white unemployment rate. So as the unemployment rate went down, as the unemployment rate went up, AFDC cases should naturally go up. But look here, unemployment went down and the AFDC cases kept going up. The reversal of direction after 1962. So this person told me I was lying about this. This is page 12 of the report, page 13 of the report. Non-white male unemployment, number of AFDC cases open per 1,000. Note the reversal of direction after 62. So 1948, boom, it's coinciding. People unemployed, more public assistance. People unemployed, more public assistance. People unemployed, more public assistance. Unemployed, more public assistance. People getting jobs, less public assistance. Unemployed, more public assistance. More jobs, less public assistance. Unemployed, more public assistance. We in the 50s now. More jobs, less public assistance. We tracking it. More jobs, more unemployed, more public assistance. More jobs, less public assistance. Keep going. We get into the 60s. Now look what happens in 1962. Boom, we get here. Right? We got unemployment up. It's up. Unemployment goes down. It go down. Unemployment keep going down in the 60s. Black power, people getting jobs. The rate of getting AFDC cases kept going up. I could stop reading that, but I'm not. Liars, bro. Liars. Storytellers, liars. Bunch of liars, man. Liars. Why they be lying so much? Why they be lying so much? Storytellers couldn't even get a campfire. But I'm just here to tell the truth. Before one of these haters later couple sets and shoot. Shit feel like when Fredro Starr was in Sunset Park playing hard with his yellow goose. Come on, man. Who the fuck they talking to? Shit feel like when Fredro Starr was in Sunset Park starting hard with the yellow goose. I just want to tell the truth. One of these haters load a couple shells and ooh. It feels like when Fredro Starr was in Sunset Park starting to hold with the yellow goose. The lies. The lies. The lies, bro. The lies, bro. Like, don't lie on me. Paid 20. Yo, Hemp, they paid you $20 to lie, bro. Salute to that person for paying you $20 to lie, bro. But I just proved they were lying. I just proved they lie. And I'm so petty. I'm typing it in the Hamp chat right now. You lied to me when you said you never turn on me. You lied to me. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Return of mine. Yeah, yeah. Da. Here I am. Bumpity. Bum, bum, ba, da. Ba, da, dee, da. Ba, ba, da, ba. Lying ass niggas. Thank you for donating a 20 ball of lotto. You liars. Fucking liars. Why y'all lie so fucking much? Here I am. Once again. Bum bum baby. Baby alright. Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. Oh my god. Why you always lying? Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. Oh my god. Why you always lying? Fucking liars. Fucking liars. 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 You liars. Boodoo-beady. Bam bam badam. Oh yeah. Once again, all this. Why the fuck you lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. Ooh, oh my God, stop fucking lying. Ooh, oh my God, stop fucking lying. All these people be lying, boy. Ooh, oh my God, why you always lying? Why the fuck you lying? Ooh, oh my God, stop fucking lying. A 1960 study of aid to dependent children in Cook County, Illinois stated the typical ADC mother in Cook County was married and had children by her husband who deserted her. His whereabouts are unknown and he does not contribute to the support of his children. She is not free to remarry and has had an illegitimate child since her husband left. What? A typical ADC mother in Cook County, aid to dependent children. So this is the was married and had 3 children by her husband who deserted. His whereabouts were unknown, and he does not contribute to the support of his children. She is not free to remarry and has had an illegitimate child since her husband left. Almost 90% of ADC families are Negro. The steady expansion of this welfare program as of public assistance programs in general can be taken as a measure of the steady disintegration of the Negro family structure over the past generation in the United States. Whew. Man, yo, we gonna have to do a this is gonna have to be some parts, man. I see this is gonna have to be some parts. All right, we go hold off there. I think I'm gonna come back and do a part 3. Just cause, man. Ooh, oh my God. Why the fuck you lying? Yeah, I'm gonna come back and do a part 3, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. So we gonna cut it right here, and we gonna come back for chapter 3, and that's gonna be part 3, and hopefully we can get chapter 3 and chapter 4 in. But there's so much context we have to give with these numbers to make sure people ain't accusing us of lying or making shit up. So we're gonna take our time. We're gonna get real slow and nasty with this. We're gonna get real slow and nasty with this. You know what I mean? Because that's how they like it. I'm just gonna take it nice and slow. Now tell me, do you wanna get free? Good. I'll treat you right, I will. I'll treat you right, I will. I'll treat you like no one has ever done, made you feel like I will. Treat you like no one has ever made you feel, yeah. Nice. Baby, tell me what you want to do with me. Now here we are. Down. My. Wish that I pull over. I want to do something free with you, girl. I said I want to do something free to you, girl. Call out my name. They call me Ghetto. Ghetto. Girl, you know I'm getting this dope flow. My shows glow. you know. Yay. Part 3 coming in a few minutes, man. Are you not entertained? These people are liars. Ooh, oh my God. Stop fucking lying. We'll be right back. Shalom, man.